Hey everybody, welcome to the second video in our series, English for Negotiations in Pharmaceutical Sales and Marketing. In our previous session, we spoke about negotiations, highlighting some useful vocabulary and also using the first conditional sentences. And today we're going to focus on some new expressions and vocabulary as well as the second conditional. Today we have a guest, Sarah. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, a pharmaceutical sales rep. I'm excited to be here and look forward to diving into today's negotiation topics with you all.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, let's get into it, everybody. If you haven't watched the first video, please feel free to pause the video and go and watch the first video, which is also on the same YouTube channel. But otherwise, let's jump into today's topic. So first, as we did last time, we're going to look at some vocabulary and context. And so let's imagine this scenario. I'm going to read it and I would like you to follow along, but try to use the same pronunciation and tone that I'm using. This is a shadowing exercise. Sarah, could you just share with everyone what shadowing is in English second language learning?
Certainly. Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, mimicking their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It's great for improving speaking skills and getting used to the natural flow of the language.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. So I'm going to read through the paragraph. Please try to shadow everybody. Okay, so let's get started. Imagine this scenario. You are negotiating a supply deal with a hospital. You present a request for an order of 5,000 units per month. The hospital raises an objection, saying their budget may only allow for 3,000 units. To move forward, you suggest a compromise, agreeing to a smaller initial order as part of a longer-term agreement. To ensure the terms are clear, both parties work to clarify the conditions of the deal. All right, I hope everyone was able to follow along. Let's go and look at some vocabulary that's highlighted. You'll see there the bold words in the paragraph. It's request, objection, compromise, agreement, and clarify. So let's go and look at these one by one. First vocabulary for today, the word is request. Could you repeat after me, please, everyone? Request. Great.
Request.
Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, that's a formal or polite demand for something. Sarah, could you give us an example sentence related to pharmaceutical sales and marketing?
Certainly. The sales representative made a request for additional product samples to distribute to clinics.
Right, so they asked for something, right? Formally or politely.
Exactly. They formally or politely asked for something specific.
Okay, so the next word is objection. And objection is a reason or an argument against something. So Sarah, could you give us an example sentence using objection?
Certainly. The client raised an objection regarding the delivery timeline during the negotiation.
Ah, okay, so they were not happy with something, right?
Exactly. They expressed a concern or disagreement.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so that's an objection. And that's a noun, right?
Yes, objection is used as a noun in this case.
Perfect. Okay, next one is compromise. Compromise. And a compromise is an agreement where both sides make concessions. Now, concession was one of our vocabulary words from the first session. And Sarah, could you just remind everyone what concession means?
Sure. A concession is something given up or agreed upon during negotiations to help reach a compromise.
Ah, so you want something, but in order to make the deal happen, you give up something, some of what you want.
Exactly. It's about finding a middle ground by both sides making concessions.
Ah, middle ground, that's also a nice expression, right, for negotiations.
Yes, middle ground is a great expression for finding a compromise in negotiations.
Yeah, it's meeting somewhere in the middle, right?
Exactly. Meeting somewhere in the middle where both parties agree.
Nice. Okay, so that's compromise. Compromise is also like that, right? Finding a middle ground, right?
Yes, exactly. Compromise is all about finding that middle ground.
Nice. Okay, and next is agreement. Agreement is a decision reached by two or more parties Okay, so could you give us an example sentence for this one, Sarah?
Certainly. After lengthy discussions, both companies reached an agreement on the terms of the contract.
Great, reach an agreement. Okay, and finally, to clarify, this one's a verb, right?
Yes. To clarify is a verb meaning to make something clear or easier to understand.
Exactly. And could you give us an example sentence?
Certainly. The manager asked for a meeting to clarify the project requirements with the team.
Okay, to clarify, right? Yeah, so it's to make it clear. Thank you so much, Sarah. Let's go on to the next part, which is key phrases for negotiations, right? So our first one is as long as, and it indicates a condition for an agreement. An example might be, we are happy to offer free delivery as long as you place a minimum order of 3,000 units. And we can use it to set specific conditions for a deal. Sarah, what do you want to share with us about the expression as long as?
As long as is great for specifying conditions that need to be met for something to happen, making it a useful phrase in negotiations.
Right. So you want to give us another relevant sentence using as long as in pharmaceutical sales and marketing?
Sure. We can offer a discount as long as the order is placed before the end of the month.
As long as, right, the condition. Okay, good. The next one is unless, and unless indicates a negative condition for agreement. It's like if, but it's the negative one, right?
Exactly. Unless sets a condition where something won't happen if that condition isn't met.
Good. So, for example, unless we agree on the terms today, we'll need to pause or, temporarily stop negotiations. And we normally use this to highlight what might happen if conditions are not met. And the next expression is that might be difficult, which is a polite way to reject an offer, right? It's kind of a polite way of saying no, right, Sarah?
Yes. It's a polite way to indicate that the proposal may not be feasible.
Oh, feasible is a good word. What does that mean, feasible?
Feasible means something is possible or practical to do. It's achievable.
Yeah, so if I say that might be difficult, actually I mean under the current conditions, I cannot do it. We cannot do it, right?
Exactly. It implies that under the current circumstances, it's not possible.
Good. Okay, so for example, if you request delivery by tomorrow, that might be difficult due to our current schedule. Okay, so that's some useful phrases for negotiations. Let's go on and look at some idioms for today. And the first one is back to the drawing board. Sarah, could you give us an idea what that means if I say back to the drawing board?
Back to the drawing board means to start something over from the beginning because the current plan or idea didn't work out.
Right, and in the context of negotiations, what would it mean if I say we have to go back to the drawing board?
In a negotiation context, it means that the current approach or offer isn't working, so you need to rethink and come up with a new plan.
Good. Okay, and to sweeten the deal. Sweeten the deal, what does that mean and how could we use it in a negotiations context, especially in pharmaceutical sales and marketing, Sarah?
Sweeten the deal means to make an offer more attractive or appealing, often by adding something extra. In a negotiation, you might use it to offer an additional benefit to persuade the other party.
Right. Okay, so let's take a simple scenario. If you're a marketing manager and you're speaking to a marketing agency and you've got a few offers on the table from different marketing agencies, what could you say to get a bit extra from one of the marketing agencies by using this idiom?
You might say, if you can include an additional social media campaign in your package, that would really sweeten the deal for us.
Very nice. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, and the final idiom is to hold all the cards. That's a little bit strange. What does this mean?
To hold all the cards means to be in a very strong position in a negotiation, having all the advantages or control.
Okay, so let's say there's a big pharmaceutical buying group, okay? They are like huge in their market, and you have a new startup company that's trying to get into the market, and they want to get a big order from this buying group, and it could really put them on the map. So who would hold all the cards in this in this case, the big pharmacy group or the new company that's trying to get established?
In this scenario, the big pharmaceutical buying group would hold all the cards because they have more influence and control over the situation.
Yeah. Okay. And so probably the company that's trying to get established would have to make some concessions to get the deal, right?
Exactly. The new company would likely need to make concessions to secure the deal and establish themselves in the market.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, well, let's go on to the grammar point for today. And last time we spoke about the first conditional. So can we quickly review that, Sarah? Can you just go through with everyone just briefly what the first conditional is and how it's used, especially giving us an example in the pharmaceutical sales or marketing industry?
Of course. The first conditional is used for real and possible situations in the future. It typically follows the structure if plus present simple, will plus base verb. For example, if we increase our marketing budget, we will reach more potential customers. This structure is useful in planning and discussing future possibilities.
Yeah, and also in a negotiation, you can make a simple proposal, right, using the first conditional.
Exactly. You can use the first conditional to propose terms, like, if you order 5,000 units, we will give you a discount.
Right. Okay, and now I want to contrast that with the second conditional, which is our grammar lesson for today. So the second conditional is used for more unlikely or impossible situations, right, Sarah?
That's right. The second conditional is used for hypothetical or unlikely situations in the future. It typically follows the structure if plus past simple, would plus base verb. For example, if we had more resources, we would expand our product line.
So the assumption is we don't have more resources, so we cannot increase our product line.
Exactly. It suggests a hypothetical situation that isn't true at the moment.
Yeah, but actually in a negotiation, if you use that example, you would be saying to the person you're communicating with, if you give us more resources, we could, in fact, increase our product line.
Exactly. It's a way to suggest a potential outcome if the current conditions were different, opening up possibilities.
Yeah. So basically, it's a last ditch, or it's a final effort to try and get the other party to accept your conditions.
Yes, it's often used as a final attempt to explore possibilities and encourage the other party to consider your proposal.
Yeah, so it's slightly different from the first conditional, and it's a little stronger, I would say, in a negotiation context.
Absolutely. The second conditional carries a stronger, more hypothetical tone, which can be impactful in negotiations.
Okay, so let's bring everything together into a role play. Are you ready to help me with that, Sarah?
Absolutely. I'm ready to help. Let's do the role play.
The role play it's going to be a salary negotiation. So I will be an employee, and I'm trying to get a salary increase with you, my manager. Okay, and I'm going to highlight my achievements, and I want you to suggest some additional benefits instead of a full raise due to budget constraints. We also want to try to use some of the vocabulary for today. Back to the drawing board, sweeten the deal, hold all the cards. The idioms will be great to practice using, as well as request, objection, compromise, clarify, and agreement. And also the key phrases, as long as, might be difficult, and unless. So if we can incorporate some of these into the role play, that will be, I think, really great. Okay, ready to get started, Sarah?
Absolutely. Let's get started. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much for seeing me. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How about you?
Thank you. I requested the meeting because I wanted to discuss my salary. As you know, I've been working with a company for 3 years, and I've been the top representative for 2 of those 3 years. And it also come to my attention that my salary is not in line with the reps in my position across various companies. So I was hoping you could discuss the potential of increasing my salary.
I understand your concerns and appreciate your dedication. While a full salary increase might be difficult due to current budget constraints, I'm open to finding a compromise. Would you consider other benefits like additional bonuses or flexible working options?
Well, as long as it's a substantial increase overall, I'd be willing to look at various options. I'm open to compromise.
That sounds reasonable. Let's explore a combination of bonuses and perhaps professional development opportunities. Would that help sweeten the deal for you?
Possibly, but if it's going to be too small of an actual salary increase, we might need to go back to the drawing board.
I understand. Let's clarify the details and find a balanced solution that aligns with both your expectations and the company's budget.
All right, so I would like to get an overall package increase in around the 30% mark.
I see. Let me discuss this further with the team and see what adjustments can be made to meet that target. We'll aim for an agreement that satisfies both sides.
Yeah, but I have to say, if you're going to come back with an offer of around 10%, it might be difficult for me to accept.
I appreciate your honesty. I'll do my best to ensure the offer reflects your contributions and expectations. Let's continue the discussion once I have more details.
All right, let's end it there. Thank you so much, Sarah. Very good. I hope everyone followed along well, and I hope all of you will also try to do the role play just like I was able to do it with Sarah. You can also use ChatGPT or other AI chatbots to practice the role play. All right, everyone, that's it for today. I want to finish before 20 minutes, so see you next time. Sarah, do you want to say bye?
Goodbye, everyone. It was great being here. See you next time.
Yes, and please join us next time for part 3. We will go over some more vocabulary and grammar points to help you in negotiations for pharmaceutical sales and marketing. See you next time.